Hi, I'm Shannon with Organizational Learning and Talent Development, and right now I am working from home while balancing the responsibilities of parenting and homeschooling, and that's been quite an adjustment for me and my family. And just like many parents, sometimes I find it difficult to manage multiple priorities and I feel overwhelmed and wondering what in the world am I going to do? How am I going to get these tasks accomplished? This new reality has forced me to think differently about how I approach work tasks and also how I support my family. So today I want to share 4 tips with you from experts that will help you if you're in a similar situation to hopefully successfully navigate working from home while parenting. And the first tip that I want to share today is to create a schedule. Now, in a previous video on working from home, my colleague Sherry shared some important information about creating schedules and routines for you and your family. There's some additional information in the links below about that. I'll tell you, this is a practice that my family has implemented, and it has helped us to minimize our stress, to also make sure that we increase our productivity, and it has set us up for success. If you're homeschooling, you'll want to make sure that you create schedules that work best for you and your family based on your needs. And one of the ways that we're doing this is by keeping our normal routines. And so we get up at the same time every day, we eat breakfast, we get dressed, and we're ready to homeschool right at 9 o'clock. And so my boys know exactly what's expected of them each and every single day. We also created a family schedule and posted it in the kitchen on our refrigerator so our kids will know what tasks they need to accomplish every single day. You can go online and search for online tools and schedules that will help you to best support your family in that area. Another thing that I found important is to schedule family time each day, and this could be as simple as having lunch with your family each day or engaging in fun activities. And if that's not an option, you might decide to engage in self-care, so going for a walk or exercising or reading a book. It gives you the opportunity to decompress and recharge so that you can jump right back to accomplish your work goals. Now, the second tip that I want to share today is to create a stress-free zone. Now, you may have already established or designated a workspace in your home, and there's additional information about that below. But your goal is to make sure that that place is quiet and it's free of stress so that you can focus on your goals for the day. And some of the ways that I've done this is by personalizing my space. And so I have portraits of the things that I enjoy in my office. I have plants. I also make sure that my space is not cluttered, and I also plan ahead. So I start my workday at 8 every day, but I go down to my office at 7:30 every day, and I turn on the lights. I set the temperature in that space so it's nice and cozy. I make sure there's lots of natural lighting. Everything I can do to make sure that I minimize my stress so that I'm ready to start working right at 8 o'clock. The third tip that I want to share with you today is to set expectations and boundaries. This is especially important if you're working remotely and if you have small children and you're homeschooling. And some of the ways that you can do this is by communicating your work schedule and your availability to your family. This is going to help you to stay focused, to maximize your productivity, and also to minimize disruptions. Another great tip is to create a do not disturb sign and put that on the door so your family knows when you're available and they also know when you're off limits. Also, make sure that you establish boundaries for your children. So make sure that they're aware of when they need to complete school assignments if you have school-age children, and understand when it's okay to have free time. The last tip that I want to share today is to make sure that you utilize your resources. And you can do this in a number of ways. The first is to share shifts with family. So if you share a space with someone else, then partner with that person to identify roles and responsibilities for childcare and homeschooling. Also, make sure that you communicate regularly with your colleagues and your leaders and those in your support system so they know how best to support you, and also so that you know how to support your teammates in accomplishing your team goals. Now, the next one is my favorite, and that is exploring online resources. A great resource that we like to explore quite a bit is Virtual Story Hour. My boys love it. And if you're a Henrico County employee, you can explore virtual story times and online library programs through Henrico County Public Library's website. There are a wealth of resources there. The next one is to reach out to your relatives for support. This might sound a bit challenging, especially if you don't have the capability of seeing your relatives every day. But a creative way of doing this is by getting them to sign up for virtual story hours for 20 minutes each day. It frees up time for you to focus on other tasks and also brings them joy and gives them the opportunity to engage with your loved ones. Now, when it comes to balancing work and home, it's important to remember to take it one day at a time, to grant yourself grace when things don't always go as expected, because oftentimes they don't always do, and also to remember to rely on your support system. And if you're like me, maybe working from home is not what you expected it to be, but it's a unique opportunity to assess what practices you can implement on a daily basis so that you can successfully support your colleagues and your loved ones.